The Concussion lawsuits brought against WWE, which date back all the way to early 2015, when Big Vito LaGrasso, first brought suit against the company. And then in the ensuing years, dozens and dozens of other wrestlers added their names as plaintiffs. There was this one lawyer who was going fishing for as many wrestlers as he possibly could find and convincing them that it was a good idea for them to be added to this lawsuit. Well, those suits were all thrown out this week by Judge Vanessa Bryant. Not only were they all dismissed, but the judge ruled that Konstantin Kiros, the lawyer who filed the cases, will have to pay all of WWE's court costs. And given how long this has dragged on for, I'm sure that is a pretty hefty amount. There were well in excess of 50 names. It might have been double that. I mean, I don't know what the exact number was in terms of the total number of plaintiffs, but there were well north of 50 names on that list, from Paul Orndorff to One Man Gang, Shane Douglas, Butch Reed, King Kong Bundy, Demolition, just, and some more current names too. Tons of other names, many of which wrestled all over the world, not just for Vince McMahon, which is part of what made this so complicated. Should WWE be held responsible for the brain injuries suffered by these people? Is it their fault? Should they be held accountable? I sympathize with some of these guys. Others, I'm sure, are just looking to make a quick buck. One name on that list is Chavo Guerrero. Actually, Chavo Sr. was on that list too, but so was Chavo Jr. And I ranted about this last year on the podcast when his name first came up in this. This guy throws his name into the hat. If you read the court documents, he said he suffers from headaches and anxiety and memory loss and insomnia and involuntary muscle spasms and all these horrible things, and yet he's still wrestling. He's still taking chair shots to the head on television. Like, if you're suing WWE over head trauma, you shouldn't be out there taking chair shots to the skull and wrestling. I mean, I guess you got to make a living so you can wrestle, but like, you see some of these guys and the contradictions there, and it would be funny if it wasn't so sad. It's just one of those things where WWE was either too lax about the safety of their performers years ago when it came to stuff like this, which they were. I don't doubt that they were. Or it could be that people who, worked for them behind the scenes may have even encouraged certain risky behavior, risky spots during matches. I don't doubt that some of that happened. But it's complicated because unless you can prove that, how do you prove that your migraines and that your memory loss are their fault? When in a lot of these cases, if not all of these cases, these people wrestled hundreds, if not thousands of matches over the course of their career in other promotions where they probably did even less to protect the talent. Whatever WWE was doing, even if you think at the time it may have been the bare minimum, I can guarantee you that if these guys were working for smaller promotions that didn't have as much money as Vince McMahon had, they probably were doing even less than the bare minimum. I mean, you had plaintiffs on this list who spent the majority of their time in WCW and other places, and then maybe wrestled a couple of matches for WWE, who wanted a payday out of this. So anyway, the whole thing's been thrown out. The lawyer for the plaintiffs, he claims that he'll be taking this to appeals court, to which WWE attorney Jerry McDevitt gave this statement. This is the statement that he gave to PW Insider. He said, "This is the same kind of drivel that Kiros pawned off on former wrestlers when soliciting them to sue WWE by false statements that he had obtained a $1 billion settlement for NFL players and would do the same for wrestlers, when in fact he had absolutely nothing to do with getting that settlement. He was caught repeatedly making false allegations. He has been admonished repeatedly by the federal judges about his dishonest behavior, and now he has been subjected to 2 different sanction orders of the kind that would make most lawyers embarrassed and ashamed. The rant he sent you now insults the federal judge who issued the decision, and he still fails to address the basis of her opinion. He may well have been able to mislead those he solicited to join his lawsuits, but he will never succeed in misleading us or federal judges. Frankly, he should be disbarred." When I think of the different MVPs in that company over the years, some say Vince McMahon is the ultimate MVP, right? It's his promotion. Once he took it over from his father, he was the puppet master. He pulled all the strings. He made all the final decisions. Still does. Others might say Kevin Dunn for all the flack that he gets. He's been there for very long, all the years he's worked there, and that he's done on the production end. Some good, a lot very bad. Some might say Jim Johnston, as important as all of his music was in helping get certain talents over. And believe me, music was a very important part, and still is, of that company for many, many years. There's some iconic themes that I would argue the theme songs got some guys over more than their in-ring talent did. So you could say any one of those guys were MVPs over the years for this company and did a lot to keep the WWE machine going. You could argue Hulk Hogan and Steve Austin. You know who the real MVP has been for all these years? Jerry effing McDevitt. They should put that on a t-shirt and sell it on WWE Shop. Jerry effing McDevitt. All the jams that this guy has gotten Vince McMahon out of over the years, you know, going back even to the steroid trial in the mid-90s, the money that he has saved this company, this guy is the real MVP. Little trivia note. His very first WWE client, all the way back in 1987, was the recently deceased Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Neidhart had supposedly punched a flight attendant in an argument over drinks, and McDevitt got him acquitted. And that was the beginning of the relationship that now has gone on, I guess it would be in excess of 30 years now. But like I said, this guy has proven to be the real MVP for this company.